Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel playlist where I'll teach you everything you need to know about HTML and CSS. HTML and CSS are the building blocks of web design and development. They allow you to create beautiful and functional websites that can showcase your creativity and skills. In this playlist, you'll learn the basics of HTML and CSS, such as how to structure your web page, how to style your element, and how to use colors, fonts, images, links, and more. You'll also learn some advanced topics such as how to use and to build responsive design, animations, transitions, grid, flexbox, and more. By the end of this playlist, you'll have a solid foundation of HTML CSS that will enable you to create your own web projects or pursue further learning in web development. Without further ado, let's have a look at the playlist and see what we'll be running. The playlist is quite exhaustive, giving a step-by-step presentation of what will be covered. And yes, here it is. Welcome to the ultimate HTML CSS learning journey. We'll first of all have a brief history, that is evolution of HTML and CSS, the synergies between the two, why do we work with HTML and CSS, and then we'll move on to setting up our own environment. We look at the tools of trade, that is choosing the right code editors. We have many editors in the market. We'll decide which one is the best for this course depending on the industry ratings and reviews. Essential web browsers and their developer tools, must have browser extensions. Then we'll go on to the HTML fundamentals. At this point, we'll be looking at the syntax and the structure of a HTML document. We'll be looking at the building blocks of HTML, write and validate semantic HTML. Semantic HTML is acceptable HTML. That's HTML that follows the best practices and industrial standards. Then we'll go on to common HTML elements, that is essential elements and their attributes, creating the structure of web pages. We'll look at what structure do we use when we want to create web pages, and then the elements that add up to create a web page. Then go on to creating forms, multimedia, and more. We'll create interactive forms, embed multimedia elements such as videos, images. We'll as well go on to looking at how we can add icons to our design, emojis, and SVG images. Later on, we'll now dive into CSS essentials. We'll look at how we can style our web pages. We'll look at CSS properties and values, styling and positioning elements. Then we'll go on to selectors and specificity. We'll be looking at targeting elements with precision, using classes, IDs, and pseudo-classes, pseudo-elements. For here, we'll be looking at how do we design something like, let's say, a paragraph, a heading, what's the logic behind. Then we'll go on to the box model and the layout, understanding the box model, managing layout with display, and we'll go on to looking at a small part of flexbox and grid. These guide us in aligning content to web pages. Then we go on to advanced CSS techniques such as color, typography, background. On this one, we'll be looking at tints and shades, typography. We look at various typographies and their meaning, background colors, gradient, shadows, and animation. Later on, we'll proceed to responsive design. How do we design a website that can fit into a tablet, a desktop computer, a smartphone, etc. Here we'll be looking at creating adaptive layouts. Then we'll go on to CSS preprocessor and frameworks. CSS has a number of preprocessors, the big ones being Sass and Less. Then we'll be looking at rapid development with already made CSS styling. That is Bootstrap and Tailwind. Tailwind is a has been on current trend of most loved frameworks. Then we'll go on to code quality and debugging. Here we'll be looking at things such as debugging and linting, ensuring clean and error-free code, best practices for HTML and CSS. How do we ensure that anything that we are coding appears exactly as we would have wished from the coding side? Then we'll go on to developer tools, debugging with Chrome. Chrome is a very resourceful browser. It's one of the most widely used browser in the world. We then go on to dev tools and Firefox developer tools. Firefox is as well an open source browser powered by the Mozilla Foundation. We go on to inspecting and optimizing our web pages. How do we optimize our web pages to make sure that the content loads fast without taking a lot of browser resources? As well, we look at how do we maintain quality when we are optimizing our pages, like reducing image sizes. We then go on to running resources. Web development and any tech development is a continuous journey where things are keeping on changing now and then. We'll be looking at some of the resources that we can be using for referencing. We have listed 4, but there are many in the industry. These are my best. That is W3 Schools, MDN WebDocs, Stack Overflow, and Web.dev by Google. We then go on to looking at how do we collaborate and showcase our work. We have some already kind of, I'll call them IDEs that you can use on the browser, such as CodePen, Sandbox. Then how do you upload your work onto GitHub, and then you create GitHub pages. We even look at Vercel and Netlify. And that is it. You can reach out to me on my Twitter handle, that is pcodsdev, and as well as to this YouTube channel. That's basically what we'll be covering in this playlist, but I'll be adding more materials. You won't be static. I'll be following the comments in the chat box, and anything that we might feel that needs more coverage will as well be covered. So I hope you will enjoy this playlist and find it useful and informative. If you do, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on any of my videos. I appreciate your feedback, your support and feedback. Thank you for watching, and happy coding.